So in today's web dev tip, we're going to take a look at the JavaScript every array method and how you can use it to inspect the data in your arrays. So we've got an array on our page at the moment now, which is just a simple array of numbers. And as with all of the JavaScript array methods, we can call the every function on any array, regardless of what data is inside it. And the every function will take a function itself, a callback function, that will be run once for each of the items in the array. So each time this gets run, we will get access to the item itself. So it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this example. And what the every function does is return a true or false value, depending on whether this function returns true for every item in the array, but if there is one that returns false, then the overall response from the every function will be false. So you can see at the moment we're not returning anything, but we're getting the false value back. So if we were just to return true every time from this function, you can see that the response from the every function is also true. So this is very similar to the sum function that we looked at in a previous tutorial. However, every call to this inner callback function here has to return true to get an overall true value. So if we were to say something like each of the items in the array must be larger than 0, then of course the response that we're going to get back is true because all of these numerical values here are larger than 0. But if we change that to something to say every item in the array has to be larger than 2, then you can see the response changes to false because obviously we've got the values of 1 and 2 which are not greater than 2. So that's pretty much all there is to the every function. It can be quite useful, especially if you've got more complex data in your array, to check that all of the items have a specific property or have a specific value that matches a condition. And you might save the response of the every function into a variable so that you can use it later on in your code. So you could say all items large enough, for example, if we were checking the numerical values here. And then you can use that in an if statement to do something else later on. And just a simple example would be to log some content out to the console if the every function returns true. So let's just change that back to a 0 and we should trigger the if statement. Just to give you a bit of context as to how you might use the result of the every function once you've used it to inspect the data in your array. So there you go, that's the JavaScript every array method. Make sure you stay tuned for more web dev tips.